Welcome to Gutter Talk, the show all about comics and graphic novels. In this episode, we've got a sketch duel, and we're talking Gwen-Verse, King of Spies, and more. I'm your host, Matt Mitchell. Let's kick things off with another segment filmed at Fan Expo Vancouver. If you've never been to a comic book convention before, a sketch duel is simply a panel where artists are drawing typically weird suggestions from the audience, all the while answering questions, and at the end of the panel, you'll have a chance to win the art they made.
Baby Godzilla
Folding clothes?
I like it.
So you're gonna get a small kaiju and you're gonna give him household chores. Huh.
Sounds great.
Interesting. Baby Godzilla. Do you remember the Godzilla cartoon in like 1980 or 79 or 80 where they had the baby Godzilla added for cuteness? Godzuki? Am I alone? Boba Fett flying out of the Sarlacc pit. Oh, this side of the crowd digs that.
Alright. You know what? I think I'll mix a few of your ideas into a single word.
Yeah.
I think that's
functional
an
thing.
idea.
I created my own brush. They are designed to fail on me at unpredictable moment. So it gives some sort of humanity back and some sort of randomness on things. So, and I'm using, I've scanned a bunch of my thumb prints to create brush with them because thumb prints are random. There's a randomness in which it goes beyond the ability of inking that sort of detail, but also when I'll leave comics and do crime like it was my plan initially, I'll get cut very easily. Crime, guys. Well, I get cut very easily because now my thumb prints are all over my previous work.
Yeah.
And
It'll be easy to
I
catch.
shoot myself in the foot.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
Is there an assignment that you've been offered that you have turned down?
I've turned out Iron Man proper though. At some point somebody asked me if I'm willing to do, I think with Gardenis, to draw Iron Man. And Gart was like, "You want to draw Iron Man?" I said, "No." Is he maybe Tony Stark? I'll do Tony. Like having adventures as Tony Stark. But if he wears that helmet, I'm out.
What about you, Tom?
Don't get me started on Iron Man.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yes, do.
Because for a while at Marvel, I started getting an awful lot of assignments from their custom division, where they do comic books for like
Cereal brand.
exactly that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And this was around the time of, I think, Iron Man 2, the movie.
Right.
So everything I was getting was Iron Man. Iron Man, Iron Man, Iron Man. And fun fact about Iron Man, when you're given an assignment to draw Iron Man, every time they send you reference on what the armor looks like that month,
It's different.
it's different every time. And it's never complete. I would commonly get lots of shots of Iron Man from the knees up.
With no foot?
So, yeah. What do his boots look like this month? What's he look like from the back?
And you didn't get the reference for.
No.
Why send you a 360
They didn't.
when they could?
Either they were too lazy or they didn't have it themselves. Okay? Because Iron Man was everywhere, and I think certain artists would go, oh, I'm getting to draw Iron Man, I'm going to redesign his arm. And it would be different.
Yeah. 119. 174. Oh, that's not a winner, and he's very disappointed.
He's holding the shirt of the girl in the video game. Kinda.
Batman and Superman arm wrestling.
Moving on to the new issues, I won't be covering anything that came out in late March, as I'm filming this mid-month before I move. First up is the new series, Spider-Gwen, Gwen-Verse. This was a good setup issue and got me pretty excited for things to come. It explains how all the different Gwen Stacy variants are created, but it's not quite the full team up of all of them just yet. And the story is really about Gwen Stacy battling her different emotions, and it looks like each little piece of her or aspect of her is going to be exaggerated in each one of the different Gwen Stacy heroes. Next we have King of Spies number 4. This was an extra thick issue and a very satisfactory conclusion to a great series. I love that Roland King is shot to bits, all but dead, somehow manages to survive and just goes straight back to seducing an old lady friend of his. When he realizes his health is on the decline, he decides he needs to take out the final monster while he still can. I'm not going to spoil all that. There was some good misdirects in this issue, but if you've read it already, feel free to discuss it with me in the comments. Moving on to another new series, we have Han Solo and Chewbacca. This was what I hoped for, a story with familiar characters, but also a way to dip my toe into the extended universe. The main premise here is that Han and Chewie take a high-paying job from Jabba that forces them to work with Greedo, and we get this panel of Han talking to Greedo, and he says, "Shoot first, ask questions later," with "shoot first" in bold. Mark Guggenheim is clearly taking a stance on the controversial Han shot first topic. This issue also introduces some cool new characters like Kel Tana, who is another scoundrel working a job with Han that doesn't go exactly as planned, and I'm looking forward to their next encounter. The last comics I read this month were not new for March, but I was finally able to get them from my comic shop, so let's take a look at Good Boy 1, 2, and 3. As mentioned in a previous episode, Good Boy is a twist on the John Wick story. An anthropomorphic dog has his owner murdered and he goes out seeking revenge. The series has beautiful artwork, it's a lot of fun to read, and if you were enjoying the King of Spies series, this is definitely one you should go back and check out, and it's only 3 issues. Capping things off, we have the quote of the month coming from the first issue of Gwen-Verse. For Gwen? That does not roll off the tongue. That's all for this month's episode of Gutter Talk. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you around comic shops in April.